We're back, everybody.
We.
Yeah. Yeah, we. I'm back. We're glad that you're back finally.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Start the clock. The show has begun. Big Phil is back. Everybody, round of applause. Here we go, baby.
Yeah, clap for me.
My man.
Yeah, I can tell it really came from the heart. And I watched last week's show without me, and I just realized that you really need me.
You didn't watch.
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Okay. How long was it?
Well, I watched 45 minutes.
45. Well, see, that just tells you didn't watch. The show was only 35 minutes long there, Chief. See, you're so full of it.
No, ask your mother.
I swear. Now, Dee Dee said, that you were under the weather, but she goes, it didn't affect your appetite. She goes, your father, he's not feeling great, but damn, he's still eating. He's still hungry. I love that she teases you about that. Look at you.
Why is she worried about it?
You got nothing to say.
Yeah, I do. I got tons to say. Yes. As you get older, I'm trying not to let this aging thing cripple me, okay?
Right. No, we've already established why you overeat, all right? It's because you didn't eat enough as a child.
Why is she concerned about it? Hold on.
Be careful of what you say about my mother.
She did heat up a pre-cooked chicken last night, and she made some broccoli. And I was like, I actually was sitting there going, hey, Diana, thank you for making dinner.
Oh, whatever. Get out of here.
Hey.
She is always cooking you dinner.
Are you kidding?
It's hard to keep up with you, player.
Oh, come on.
Oh, and also, too, remember when I was teasing you about the, how you cook your chicken soup? Right?
Yeah, it happened to be in a frying pan.
Yeah,
yes.
No, well, someone said that, hey, Matt, you must not have actually, been in a kitchen or worked in a kitchen before because this is, according to a chef, the fastest way to heat up a soup and to deliver it to customers. So he thought that you were in the right with that decision. Now, I don't buy it, but he was defending
it. You know more than the chef. Yeah. And you can't say, wow, Dad, you were right. Does that hurt to say? Yeah.
No, it's not like that you were thinking like a chef over here.
Hey, look,
right?
I was thinking about economizing, okay? That I'd made breakfast in that skillet.
Yeah.
So it was time to have lunch. And I go, well, I'm not going to dirty another dish. See, I'm thinking of your mother.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I throw the soup all the time into that frying pan.
Right.
All the time. So only you would take a picture of it, man.
Yeah, I took a picture of you actually the other day too that I was going to put on the show, but I'm going to spare you for right now.
What
but
was it?
Just so you know, it's Big Phil. He was in the kitchen. He was eating, all right, but I came in there, caught him while he was getting a quick snack between interviews. And Big Phil's got a nice collared shirt on, just like you see right here. And then he had, these little shorts on, little Nike socks.
Yeah.
And then you had your little house loafers that you're wearing,
yeah.
the little Uggs, which were
adorable. I had to do Zoom calls, so they only see you from here up. So I'm not putting dress slacks on to do that.
I just thought it was a funny look there when you walked downstairs.
Yeah,
but
it was.
I'm glad that you're back, big guy.
I feel good.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of things to say. And, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad you dressed up for the show a little bit.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Got my work boots on. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, baby.
Snow and ice up here in New Jersey, on the roads, walking around. Got to be careful.
That's right.
Traffic was bad.
Enough dilly-dallying.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get rock and roll. Hey.
Browns-Texans player.
Well, just how about the wild card weekend?
Let's go into it.
Did you enjoy it, or was it
I did enjoy it.
Or?
I did. Well, first of all, I enjoyed it because, we tied each other in picks. So my 6-game lead is still in its appropriate position.
Right.
I'm still dominating you in picks.
Right.
And the overall record on the year, I'm 33-19, and you're 27-25.
Okay. Well, we made an agreement that this week every game would be worth 2, the championship games would be worth 3, and the Super Bowl is worth 4.
Did we shake on that?
We sure did.
Bullshit.
You agreed. Wait.
You just lied on the stand.
You agreed to it in the car.
I did not agree to it in the car.
So we're going to.
I literally laughed at you and said, that's funny. That's a funny concept.
So we're going to count all these regular season games and this and that the same as Super Bowl and conference championships and all that. Same stuff, huh? Is that what you're saying?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Now, listen, if the roles were reversed, you'd say, hey, that's just tough luck, son. All right? You just got –
No, I would like the competition.
Yeah. Oh, you would like
yeah.
I like the competition, too.
Well,
I'm kicking the competition's ass right now.
I would do it.
All right?
Listen, I would just do it because, I've whooped your ass once, and let me do it one more time.
I'll consider maybe making the Super Bowl like a special one-offer for you, so you can maybe tie it or something. We'll discuss, okay?
Yeah.
All right, but right now, I'm kicking your ass, and I love it.
You're a really flexible guy. And okay, go ahead. All right, what first wild card game? Let's go. Let's get the.
Oh, okay, now you want to get into it. Okay, so the first game we're going to talk about,
Yes.
the Texans versus the Browns.
Right.
Down there in Houston, NRG Stadium.
First thing is this.
What's that,
They
player?
played a few weeks before that.
That's right.
Cleveland stomped them.
Yeah,
Okay, so that works against, to me, it works against Cleveland.
it does. Okay.
You know, and the Houston Texans going, hey, they came in there and kicked our butts, and by God, we're going to practice, and the excitement of being
Yeah.
in the playoffs, everything, home game, and emotionally, I thought there was a lot on their side, and they
And that's
gave
why
up.
you took the Browns.
Yeah. But I changed my mind later that week. And
Yeah, right.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, well, you're on a lot of shows, so I feel like I've learned this from you. Whatever you pick here on this show, you go to the other show, you pick the other team.
Well, what happens is this.
This is why you have a false belief of how good you are at picking.
This is early in the week, so I have when I get information, it changes what I
Right.
want to talk about. Okay,
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
No.
See, I gather more information. I go, wow, I'm kind of off this Houston game. Joe Flacco had a lot of big plays in that first Houston game. They didn't play great. Oh, and I don't know if it had anything to do with it. C.J. Stroud didn't play. So
Clearly it did.
yeah, apparently. But the fact that he was back in the game, their energy was just incredible. And Cleveland, which I didn't really pay attention to right before the game, their defense has been really average on the road.
Yeah.
And so what worries
They've
you?
given up a lot of big points and a lot of big plays and points on the road this year. The Cleveland Browns.
The last thing I
defense.
just say is a lot of people were on top of that and talking about it, and I thought rightly so. Joe Flacco could throw some interceptions. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that was well, maybe it was because they turned into big points. But Joe and their defense, to me, when you play that aggressive, a good quarterback, a good system, and the receivers took advantage of it.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to give some credit to Bobby Sloak and that offense too. They seemed like they had a lot of plays dialed up to take advantage of just what seemed like just over aggressive man coverage throughout the game. Now, you said this to me. This is what Cleveland does.
Yeah.
This is what got them there in the first place. But at the same time, I feel like that was a easy way for a young quarterback to play fast
Right.
and to make quick decisions, knowing that, like majority of the game, I'm going to get man coverage. I'm going to pick the best matchups. We're going to dial up certain plays to make sure that we're getting them open in man coverage. And, I just feel like they kind of had an answer for everything and also did a really good job of just making, simple plays, explosive plays too.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing. Yes,
Like the down flat to the tight end, that goes for 70 yards for a touchdown. Very standard football play.
Well, yes, and what they do, it was great acting. Who was the tight end that caught that one?
Yeah, I got to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was great acting,
blanking right
blocking, and they said, "Oh, he's blocking this." So they both linebackers come on the blitz, and then of course C.J. Stroud drops it over the line of scrimmage, and there's nobody there to cover him or be with him there. The big thing about Houston is this: that I think,
Brevin Jordan was the player.
yeah, Brevin Jordan, he went 72
who looks
yards.
fast as hell.
Yes, he is fast. But here's the thing about Houston.
Yeah.
They got all these plays, but it's a lot of deception, and there's extra blockers a lot of times for what? Because they're going to make sure their quarterback doesn't take too many hits.
Right.
I mean, against Indianapolis, 3 tight ends, wide receivers inside the formation going to chip before they release on pass patterns because they were worried about the Indy pass rush. And then going back and seeing it, I didn't get to say this last week, but going back and seeing it, man, Indy, thank God they did it. C.J. Stroud would have never made it through the game.
Right.
Because they were really putting a lot of pressure on him the whole game.
Yeah.
So, but I've noticed that the formations, keeping guys in, moving the quarterback, fake, roll one way, whatever, move in the pocket.
Yeah, his ability to stand in the pocket, stay strong in the pocket, really deliver powerful footballs down the
Yes.
field with tremendous accuracy.
So it's a great job.
Yeah.
To me, it's a top flight NFL offense because of deception and protecting the quarterback and, of course, speed at wide receiver.
For sure. And then, of course, just the execution of the quarterback being able to deliver it, too. And
Man.
And even to the little throwback play to Dalton Schultz. We saw this, too, in a
there you
few
go.
games. There's Matt LaFleur, Packers. They do the Y sneak. Texans, very similar type of concept. A different way, obviously, of getting to it, but the same concept of run everybody to one side of the field. Tight end pretends like he's running a high corner route, breaks it back across against the grain, and is a beautiful touchdown, too. And just
Yeah.
I feel like they had constant just big plays like that where it's very hard to, I feel like, overcome that, especially if you're on the other side.
It's an NFL play.
Yeah.
Just about everybody does it, but it only works against teams that are really going to chase you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Dallas
over pursue.
Yeah, Dallas was trying to undercut them.
Right.
And when I watched that yesterday, and it's not going to work. And of course, we'll get into that later. But when you're facing really fast guys or nimble guys, Dalton Schultz would be one of those.
Right.
It works, and that worked for an easy touchdown.
It's amazing how many good tight ends there are.
And
they
moved the quarterback in that play too.
That's right. Yeah, they changed the pocket. Right, they moved everyone and to take away just from that, that strength of that defense, right, of being physical and pushing people around. Who are you more impressed with? Are you more impressed with Texans offense or the Texans defense during this playoff game?
That's a good question. The defense, man, they just out-hit Cleveland's offense.
They really did.
That's what it comes down to.
The physicality was ridiculous.
They just out-hit them.
They did.
And, and to out-hit, it takes talent, of course, but it takes emotion. And that emotion can be many things. You're excited because of the game, or there's a little bit of, I'm frightened because this other team is so good. We gotta really go.
Right.
And you know that feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, we play some teams
Too well.
Yeah, too well. It happens. You play some teams that you're a little scared, which brings everything up because you don't want to get embarrassed.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
fear is a great weapon on the football
Absolutely.
field, right? Fear of getting your butt kicked is always a great motivator.
because that fear is going to be with you all week when you're sitting in a meeting. You're going, sure, coach, are we going to get the – and, paying attention, practice. You go, we got to practice really well and be sharp because, damn, these guys are good.
Yeah.
So I think Houston had all that on its side and should have known that and picked them. But damn,
It's all right. We split later on, though, too.
Yeah, I know, but picking these games.
How impressed, though, have you been, though, with just, one, let's discuss this real quick. Derek Barnett comes up with the sack, in this game. So big pickup for –
did he have one or two?
He had one, but he had a big tackle for a loss, too.
Okay, that's what it was.
But just here's a guy they added to him late on the roster. Him, Jonathan Grenard, right, Will Anderson, that defensive line – Rankins, all that stuff. Like, I just feel like they got a lot of really good, interesting pieces that make them a tough matchup to deal with. And maybe not the stats always show it, but they're making huge impacts on the defensive side.
Let's talk about that when we talk about the game against Baltimore.
Yeah, we'll revisit that. But that's definitely one of the impressive parts about DeMeco Ryans and his ability to obviously evaluate, find talent, and integrate it into
as we'll talk about later.
Team.
DeMeco Ryans is coaching, and it looks almost the same. I mean, not quite the talent level, of course, that he did in San Francisco.
Right.
That's what it is.
Is he coach of the year?
Well, winning a playoff game is a big deal.
It is.
Kevin Stefanski.
Against another potential coach of the year candidate.
I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, Houston, I was probably going overboard with them. I said, man, they could win 4 or 5 games this year.
It's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
So, listen, it takes really good coaching to have a good season, to win games in the NFL, and to win playoff games. Hey, coaching means more in the NFL than it does any other major sport by far.
Definitely.
And you
not
see
even
that.
close.
Yeah,
for
not
sure.
even close.
Yeah.
Bobby Slowick. Okay. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is cutting-edge offense in the NFL. Maybe one, if I had to name 3, whatever, they would definitely be one of the 3 offenses if you're a quarterback or you're a head coach. Yeah, let's run that offense. I love that.
And he, like a Ben Johnson type, like you had said earlier in the year, you pull him into the office, hey, how much money you need, player? Yeah, because we don't want to let you go yet.
I don't think you're quite ready for this head coaching thing. So we're going to sweeten the pot a little.
You sure you're ready? Because we could just pay you more, get some more experience.
I don't understand why it never happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, let's go ahead.
So let's go now to the Dolphins-Chiefs.
Ooh.
That football game. First takeaway just from that game. What did you notice right away?
Oh, it was huge. One could throw in the cold weather, and the other one couldn't. And you said in the car ride over here, what about Patrick Mahomes?
I thought it was his best throwing performance of the year. And I've been extremely critical of him all season with how he's thrown the football. But his accuracy, his power, obviously his ability to throw the ball that effectively too in those conditions, it was night and day performance compared to the Dolphins and Tua.
And he played so calm. He didn't. panic is not the word for him, because when you can run, sometimes it's hard to overcome the fact that you can run.
Right.
Well, it's not what let me run. And I think he was gotten into that mode too much. But, yeah, I thought he threw the ball extremely well. And I said maybe there were 2 times I go, well, the ball wasn't perfect.
Right.
But, man, did he throw it accurately and, like you said, with power.
Yeah.
In a cold, windy game. So going to Buffalo, we won't get it, but no matter what the weather is going to be in Buffalo, him and Josh Allen are going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, we learned that for sure, that both Patrick and Josh.
But that was the
they
first
can
thing that
handle
came to
the
my mind when
conditions,
you said the
for
game.
sure. Is it concerning you that Tua looked the way that he did in those conditions?
Yeah, well, they're not used to
For
it.
big picture.
Yeah, and I would say this to him, they don't get the practice in, they can't prepare for it. But the one thing I would say, when you now, this is being minutia, but I looked at the footballs and go, I don't know if they rubbed those footballs up enough.
Well, it's a great point. I know it's a weird thing, but they're not used to playing those conditions. So they're like, all right, hey, we're just going to use the footballs that we always do. But it might not be the best football for
cold weather,
right?
Yeah.
And especially the ball being a little harder, a little slicker than it normally is.
No question.
I always had this complaint with Matt Ryan, actually, because Matt Ryan actually used kind of newer footballs compared to like the muddied up footballs.
Right.
Now, he played in a dome his whole career.
That's right.
So I was always saying to Matt, like, okay, like, hey, we're playing here. We should probably, treat the footballs a little different with this. And he's like, hey. He goes, Sims, just let me do me, all right? Like, he'd always be like, just back off. Let me just throw the football that I want to throw. And I'm like, all right, you're right. You're the man.
Yeah, Matt Ryan was in the studio last week with us, and we had a few talks, and I said, look, you only dealt with my son for a few years. I've had him for his whole life, so how do you think I feel?
That's right.
he loved it. No, but he said a lot of good things about you. But, yeah,
that is a real thing, though, for throwers.
It is, and honestly, it's terrible. I was looking at that during the game. I couldn't quite do it when I watched the game on, the all 22 or whatever, because you can't quite see the football. I know I hate saying that I watch coaches' film.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds like, who gives a crap what you watch?
Right.
But, but watching the game on TV, Patrick Mahomes' football looked like he threw them in high school.
Right.
They were beat up and looked great, and that's what you can do with them now. There's no reason not to have a perfect grip on the football, almost regardless of the weather in this day and age.
Are you a little concerned with Travis Kelce and some of his drops and just some of the things that happened to him in the game, or is that just conditions and you're –
Yeah, I wasn't alarmed by him dropping the football. I thought he ran better, in the game. He looked a little quicker and faster. And I think what's happened, and we'll talk about this game coming up, but there's 4 people on offense that I know about Kansas City now.
No doubt.
Can you name them?
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco?
Yeah.
I just bit by a zombie Pacheco?
Yeah.
And then Rashee Rice?
Yeah.
Travis Kelce?
Yeah, you got it. Hot damn.
It's pretty obvious when you watch the game, player.
I know.
I don't even know if there's other people on the team or on the field, especially offensively.
When you got 4 guys that, hey, what do we do? We got 4 guys. Let's work with them. And it makes it awesome. And Rashee Rice, first off, I wanted to look it up, and you can only do so much in a week. How big is that son gun?
He's
got legs like he's
strong.
Hi.
He is really strong, and it's pretty cool too, because I feel like the last 3 weeks it's kind of like you're seeing this all of a sudden. It's like, wow, this guy is
he's got it.
He's a dude.
He's a
real dude.
Yeah, they draft him. I think the story is what Mahomes is down in Texas and threw.
That's right.
And he says, yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. You get to tell him who to draft.
Good for you, player.
Help him out. Yeah, that's some power. But, yeah, those 4. And on defense.
Yeah, let's talk about that defense.
I'll just do it real quick because I don't want to talk about it when they play Buffalo.
Right.
Depth is awesome. They're aggressive. They're extremely well coached.
Right.
And Spagnuolo has just got a great feel for all this stuff.
Right.
And so, but down linemen, they don't hesitate to keep them fresh. Everybody's going in and out. And, probably the one guy, too, that might be the unknown factor this week is, if you watch George Karlaftis.
I thought you would say that, yeah.
Him and Aiden Hutchinson, yes, I know they're both white, but it looks like Karlaftis is starting to really get the move, turn it into a real pass rusher.
Right.
I don't mean to say it negatively.
No, but he's figuring out how to affect the game more as a pass rusher than he has in previous.
I saw him a couple of times. His arms were locked out, and he was just like bulldozing the tackle. And I just
He's a big dude. He's a strong dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, both him and Chris Jones, I feel like it's just like they were all over the place in the backfield in the last game.
Last thing I'll just say about that game.
Yeah.
Chris Jones, of course, still a huge factor. And the bigger the game, the more he seems to be a factor.
Right.
How about last year? We don't know about Chris Jones. And then the playoffs, that's pretty good. Oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
It just got better and better.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he's one of those guys, and good for him.
Yeah, and he, let's see, for, the other guy, too, that I feel like always kind of pops up recently, too, is this Tranquil kid.
Oh, Drew Tranquil.
I
My
mean,
God, he's everywhere.
He's a Swiss Army knife. He just does a little of everything. Of course, Nick Bolton, what he does to that team, too.
Gay.
Look, now that he's healthy and back, that's awesome.
They got size and speed at linebacker.
Yeah, McDuffie, Snead, just
L'Jarius Sneed.
Stacked everywhere.
How would you like to be a receiver and have to deal with him all the time?
I mean, did you see? They didn't really show it on television, but of course, social media got it. But you see L'Jarius Sneed and how he jammed up Tyreek Hill on the one
that was
rep.
great. That was
and,
great.
Tyreek was just like, yeah, man, like, he got me,
No, what did he say? You jammed me all the way to Mexico.
To Cancun or something like that. Yeah, so that was, but I am a little concerned long term, though, for the Dolphins and for just the way that they kind of had their team structured this year. And I think they really do need to kind of, got to develop the passing attack to where, like, can you just drop back and throw just atypical passing game stuff? Does everything have to be, like, super game planned? That's my one little concern, Like, I feel like every now and then, like, can you just throw your old standard West Coast offense play in with all the other stuff that you really went over the top in game planning, right? Like, it's almost like it's too well thought out that they can't even do just basic mundane things every now and then. Excuse me.
I would say this about the Dolphins. I'm not going to overjudge it.
Yeah.
Just because
the injuries on defense were.
And, at one time I'm looking at the defense going, man, they're building some defense down there. So whatever it is with the Dolphins, they hope to get healthy and they'll run this thing back almost probably the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. What's next?
Packers, Cowboys.
Packers-Cowboys.
Where do you want to start with this one, player?
Well,
there's a lot to digest
We
here.
were in the studio, and I came driving home, and I turned the radio on, 7-0 Green Bay. I'm like, oh, wow, before I got home, 14-0 Green Bay. And I'm like, damn, I hope that we recorded it. I want to see what went on. But I think I just sat there in shock because I got to see, the interception or 21-0, and then the interception for the touchdown. Which came first? 21-0 interception or what doesn't matter. But when they had the interception and ran it back, I was like 28-0. This is like, you couldn't even dream this up. If you were the biggest hater of the Dallas Cowboys, you could never even dream of having this happen for you. So, it was exciting. I'll just leave it at this, and then I'll talk a little more about what Dallas did. It was exciting and all that, but also I did feel sympathy for the Dallas Cowboys when it was over.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of rooting for the Cowboys, honestly, just because I wanted to, obviously, for them to break the narrative of what they've been kind of battling the entire year.
Right.
But as you watch that game, too, they're just not a Super Bowl football team. They're really not. The injuries to Leighton Vander Esch were huge. Their lack of size in the middle of their defense. Aaron Jones and his ability in that offensive line. The play calling by Matt LaFleur was phenomenal. The play design, the formations, the motions, and of course to top all that off, Jordan Love, his ability to throw the football with such ease was just absolutely tremendous.
I love
it really
one.
was.
I don't know if it was a touchdown. I can't remember which play because there's so many. But he dropped. See, they get under the center and drop back pass.
Yeah.
Which is almost forbidden in the NFL now.
Right.
But 7-step drops.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's another team in the league that does 7-step drop.
There's very few. Definitely not from under center.
Not only did but one time there was pressure coming. He knew it was trouble, so he just kept backpedaling. And then,
well, that was the play where I was like, wow, this is like, it's over.
Yeah.
It was Jordan Love's at the line of scrimmage, and clearly him and LaFleur prepared for this. He read that it was cover zero blitz.
Right.
Went to the line of scrimmage, made the check. He caught the football. He drifted back. And then this is where I believe Wicks was one-on-one with Stephon Gilmore.
Outside receiver.
Little spray release or wide and release post.
Right.
Stephon is in the worst position possible for a defender in this situation.
Right.
He's trying to sit to break on anything quick. He breaks the post. He's flat-footed. He wins. Delivers a beautiful football, but his drop, the identification of the defense, the execution on top of it, the speed of Wicks on the outside, like I was like, damn, it's over. Like you just can't overcome these type of plays too. And it kind of shows you too that like Dallas felt that desperate at that time of the game to say we got to get after the quarterback and get them out of here to stop them.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think it's just kind of keep focusing on Dallas just because we're going to talk about, Green Bay going to San Francisco.
Yeah.
But just the fact that, there was 54 offensive plays by Green Bay, I think. I can't remember exactly.
Right.
48 times Dallas had 6 DBs on the field or whatever. So Green Bay, we saw the schemed up runs. I thought they were really well designed.
They were.
I even talked about one of them, I think, on Monday in the studio waiting for the Buffalo game to come out. I was just showing how they were blocking it, kicking out Micah Parsons, making it rough on him. It's kind of like a fighter. You keep hitting them, sooner or later you wear them down.
No doubt.
And, man, they're pulling the tight end across from the other side, and it's just a collision. And, if you're the defensive end at the time, which Micah Parsons was, you got to protect yourself.
Definitely.
How you going to make plays when there comes this big-ass tight end at me? But that was interesting, too. The passing scheme, extremely deceptive by Green Bay. And, of course, their run game was tremendous, too.
Yeah, and the play you were talking about earlier, too, was the interception by Jair Alexander on the slant, or the in-breaker.
Yeah.
That was early in the game. That kind of led to it being 14-0 at the time, right? And you even said it, too. You're just like, why are you trying to throw it to, Alexander's side like that, especially early in the game? Because you think that he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the cornerbacks in the league.
He's this guy that doesn't care.
Right.
And that's the scariest corner of all.
Right.
Hey, I'm going.
Right.
And I'm not. Oh, he might make another move. The hell with that.
Yeah.
And slants, anything quick inside, I would never. If he's bumping and running, I'm looking the other way.
Right.
I didn't watch that film real close. I might do that just to see. But were they bump and run all over it? Was he in bump and run
That one
position?
he was, yes. He was all over it. He was covering Brandon Cooks on that play, and really they kind of did one of those like under with the corner over the top.
Okay.
If Dak looks past it to the corner, it's open.
It's open.
It's a big play.
Yeah.
So, but he tried to force it in there. He tried to, just make, I think, like a get in rhythm type of throw, but led him too much.
He led him too much.
Alexander was all over it.
Yeah.
And that's where, he damn near ran the route for him. So, again, just the preparation on both sides of the football. There was no plays where I feel like Dallas got Green Bay out of position.
Right.
Whereas in the opposite, Green Bay got Dallas out of position, I feel like, the entire football game.
The whole game,
both offensively and defensively. And that's where, why I mentioned the Y League play too. That's a play that I feel like coaches run early on in the year.
Yeah.
And they're like, kind of like, hey, let's get the quarterback to feel good, or we're winning and let's kind of pile it on them here, to really end it and separate.
Right.
And I just love that LaFleur called that play.
Right.
Because he felt it. He knew that they were dominating. He's like, all right, well, let's just get him with one that, they're overplaying because they got to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Let's fake inside zone, boot, and throw back across the field. And that's one of those where it's like, damn, he was so open. Jordan Love threw it so high.
He almost underthrew 2 of them. Like he threw
I
it
know,
so soft.
I know. But he was so damn open. It's just like, please, just don't. But
that Y sneak or whatever you call it. Is that what y'all
sneak
call it?
or leak. Yeah.
Leak, whatever. Did that go back to Kyle Shanahan in Houston? Is that where it started? Or is it
that I don't. Well, probably. Yeah. Schaub used to throw those a lot with the Houston Texans,
through
for sure. Yeah.
They clear. Then the guy would cross and then turn up the sideline. The second man. It was designed for what? For the, whose defense?
Yeah. Boots, play actions, overplaying.
The Seattle 3.
The Seattle 3.
So there's
that's
Dan
one
Quinn,
for sure.
And just some of the things they teach or whatever. They all know this, and I don't know if that's why it works.
Yeah, and it's also just, I think, a play, too, for a team that's running the football extremely well, right? And you're getting a team that's caught in man coverage.
Right.
it's just hard to cover that play
Yeah.
when you're over pursuing. Look at you, you're copying my mannerisms over there. But
what
I
mannerisms?
scratched my ear, you scratched your ear. Okay, but here we go.
I was trying not to listen to you.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's right. Yeah, put your damn glasses on.
I got to read what the hell I wrote.
The other thing that I just, real quick, Green Bay's speed, So there's Aaron Rodgers saying they're not doing enough getting me young talent around. Whoa, look at this team now, player. They got young speed everywhere. Let's go through this skill group here real quick. Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Fast. Luke Musgrave.
Liking.
Wow, like him a lot. Like the kid Tucker Kraft, too.
Tucker Kraft, good, too.
Excited about both of them.
Yep.
Dontavian Wicks, fast.
Fast.
Who else do we got? Christian Watson.
Really fast.
Didn't do much. Super fast.
Yeah, he's resting his hamstrings. He'll be ready.
And then Aaron Jones, as a running back, as a pass catcher.
Fast.
You didn't see much as a pass catcher, but still, we know that he can do it. We know that he can be effective that way. So, Green Bay, you did it. You did it. Wow. You got a lot of new young blood football players that are super talented.
We'll get into them just a little bit. But they throw it down the field.
They do.
And what does that do? I always say that. Deep drops, play actions, whatever, the defense does what? It expands. It's easier to see. You can make better decisions, and it really becomes easy when you have a good arm like Jordan Love does. So it's the perfect offense for him. He's not one of these, let's get the ball and keep throwing quick slants and quick outs and all that. And it benefits the receivers. That's who they are, too.
It is.
Let's don't go get fast guys to run a bunch of, 3-yard routes.
Right. No doubt.
So, man, good for them. I think that's 6 guys, all young, and they all have one common denominator. If they're not really fast, they're just real fast.
They're so fast on the field, too, that, when they run the route and catch it, you're kind of just like, whoa, who was that? Well, it doesn't even matter. It was one of them. Because they all just they're all just moving on the field. It's crazy. Dobbs caught a few where he caught it and just turned up the sideline. And I was like, damn.
I know.
They are so happy to be playing on this turf on the road. It just was unbelievable how quick they were able to transition after the catch.
Well, here's where they got me, and we'll go to the next game.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there watching on TV. I think I saw it on TV. But when I watched that game, when they were in Detroit Thanksgiving Day, Jordan Love was awesome. And I just said, wow. It was like the light went on. Not the light. I don't want to say that. He just found his comfort zone of his body and his throwing. And even against Chicago, which I didn't talk about when they played the last game of the year, playoff game.
Right.
And he was stepping into it. He threw some rockets.
No doubt.
In cuts. Game is on the line. We're inside our 5-yard line. The score is 17-9, I think. And what did they do?
Yeah.
They come out throwing.
Yeah.
It wasn't, let's hand it off and be careful.
It
was really impressive.
It's a credit to Jordan Love and his ability to play fearless and to just let it go and to trust, what he sees. And just, again.
To Matt LaFleur, too.
Matt LaFleur, really, because this is not the offense that I've seen from Aaron Rodgers towards the end of his reign.
Right.
This is Matt LaFleur's imprint on this team, and it's exciting. It's a fun watch, and it's aggressive. And we'll get into that matchup here against San Francisco.
Let's get these other two real quick because I don't know how long we've been going. But
all right, let's go now to the Rams and the Lions.
Okay.
And the Lions. What do you think, player, about this one?
Well, the quarterbacks threw the ball. I don't want to get into just the quarterbacks, but they both threw the ball extremely well. Matt Stafford made some throws that, even the announcers were laughing because if you're an ex-quarterback or whoever you are, it's unbelievable.
It is.
It really. 3rd and 18. And he throws one, not sidearm. I mean, it was beyond sidearm, and hits a deep.
It was
outcut.
submarine. Yeah.
Submarine.
Yeah.
And hits it, and I just went, all right, that's ridiculous.
Well, I think too. We were saying it midway through the year, and now it kind of all of a sudden it caught up again. Just if they keep building this football team, which it looks like they have been, and it's projecting in the right direction too, with some of the young football players they have on the defensive side too, and what they've done offensively. Matt Stafford's still an MVP caliber type of player.
Yeah,
he really is.
He
He's an MVP type of thrower.
Yes.
And that's where I was super impressed with. I was really happy, though, just as a fan, that in this game, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford didn't lose the game for their teams, right? Because I was tired of that narrative of like, them versus each other and all that.
Right.
I feel like we always do that with this quarterback beat that quarterback. It's like, no, this quarterback beat that defense, But
yeah, judge the quarterback on the performance against who he's playing,
Right.
and quit going, well, the other one now played. No, okay, there's times. Well, now I don't even want to get into all
yeah, I
this
know.
quarterback
But just
stuff.
still, Matt Stafford, his performance was ridiculous. Puka Nakua
Was ridiculous.
was absolutely ridiculous. His toughness, too. That dude's tough as hell.
Yeah.
He really is. I mean, some of the catches that he made over the middle, like, you're going to get killed. And he just, I won't get it.
Catches it, has no expression, gets up, and runs back to the huddle.
He really does. He's awesome.
I got to show you something I saw on Instagram yesterday.
Look at you on Instagram, player. Yeah. What'd you say?
I got to admit, it's addicting. You start, oh, that was cool. That's funny.
Yeah,
but whatever. It's about they're in the draft room, and they're getting ready to draft him.
I know. That was great. That was
you
great.
saw it already.
Yeah, of course.
Dang.
Yeah.
It was great.
No, I just to hear that discussion. So that and I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, right? But just they're basically like, yeah, I like this guy. I know that he's slow at the combine. I know he didn't test well, but he's tough. He's going to go in there. I need a guy that's going to go in and block in the run game, be strong, but we can design plays for him to be just a really good football player. And that's a reminder, too, to everybody at home, right, that just no doubt testing is important, but to be a really good player and play the game well, to have a high football IQ, you could see that they value that very high.
Cooper Kupp gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he takes off.
No doubt.
And it continued.
And they said he's a part of the Breakfast Club now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was funny, too, because they're telling the story about how Stafford and Cooper Kupp are in the meeting. They invite Puka, to get involved with it. And the whole meeting, they're just saying, yeah, Puka needs to do this. Puka needs to do that. And they were saying that he wasn't even, in the room. That's how they were talking.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's really cool, though, that they were able to find, obviously, this gem late in the draft. And obviously for him to come up the way that he did throughout the year.
The Rams are somebody to look at next year, but I'm happy for Detroit.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, everybody made fun of him. And, I know it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think people really said, oh, the coaches like him are outdated. And no, they're not. His passion, his being truthful to the players, and how he I never forget the first year he was, maybe it was, when they did Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Remember they had a really hard practice and they're hitting?
Yeah.
And I felt like Dan Campbell was going to cry, like, we had to do this.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
But you got to do this.
Yeah.
Science tells you to do it.
Right.
And so he was saying all that, and all the work they've gone through. We've talked about Ben Johnson endlessly. Aaron Glenn, look, I think he's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
And they're caught into this. Do we play zone so we can stop the run? Or do we get aggressive and try to stop the, whatever, and it turns around, and then they run the ball on us?
Yeah.
So, that's where they are right now. They need one or two more players on that defense where they can play and catch you by surprise. They're not there yet. But, hey, Jared Goff, I can't tell you how happy I am for him. And that had to be emotional as hell. Let's be honest. They threw you. They kicked you out of L.A. That's the way this league goes. But it had to be, man, he had to go home that night. Him and his wife had to look at each other and go, yeah, this is pretty good.
That was pretty awesome, right? We just kicked their ass.
That's the first thing I thought of, just his emotions and everything. But he's Mr. Cool. He doesn't show a lot of it.
And honestly, I mean, how cool is it, too, even on the other side of it? Because I'm sure, Sean McVay, you got to give respect to Coach Campbell and what they've done. Guys like Mark Brunell, Ben Johnson, all of them, all players, all guys that know what it takes to be successful as a coach, as a player. And, give Campbell credit, man. That dude got what was, a toy that was thrown to the island of misfit toys, right? And he was like, hey, man, we'll build you back up.
He did.
And it was work. They did it. And that just, again, another thing, too, of just coaching.
And
coaching is so damn important.
It is. And the offense fits Jared Goff. It's not a get rid of the quick ball.
Yeah.
It's play action pass, deep drop, lots of room to move because he's got to go O-line so you can really get into it. And Jared Goff, his best throws are those deep in cuts and
the deep hook routes and
where he
those
can throw it as hard as he can throw it.
Yeah,
and it's
for sure.
awesome. Let's go ahead and move ahead.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's pretty damn good as right. But what I love about him, too, though, he is tough as hell, too. He is a strong dude.
Yeah.
When he catches the football, he's violent. He's trying to hit people too, which I love about it. So,
if he doesn't, his dad's going to come show up and get him.
yeah, that's right. That's right. But still, it just, and Aiden Hutchinson, we'll get into that too, but he's just a phenomenal football player, and his impact on the defensive side is just absolutely tremendous.
All right, who we got left?
All right, so now the next one we got two left real quick. So
Well,
let's be real quick.
we'll really
All right,
fast.
so Bills, and Steelers.
Steelers, I'll just say this. I thought Mason Rudolph, I felt bad when our show was over that I didn't give him a little shout out. I thought he hung in there and played well.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one.
Right.
You got to look at the two wide receivers Pittsburgh has, their offensive line, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
And Broderick Jones at right tackle.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, all he has to do is drop 10 pounds. He could be a tight end. I mean, he's that athletic to me.
Right, he is.
He can run and all that. So and they had no T.J. Watt. That would have changed the game too.
I wanted it to be worse weather because I thought it would have helped Pittsburgh with that.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Or with him being out. Because now it's like, okay, we can't just drop back and throw it and be super consistent, even
Right.
though, but it was clear, and then it gave, I feel like, the Bills an opportunity to drop back and throw it more aggressively and take advantage of the fact that TJ wasn't there.
I've said this: weather brings talent together.
No doubt.
So it definitely shrinks. You can be let's say 5 degrees better than the other team, and the weather, if it's a factor, then it comes down to almost a toss-up.
Yeah.
So
Now, big picture for the Steelers, do they draft a quarterback,
No.
or do they go and get a veteran?
they'll get a veteran.
They will.
They're not. They don't want. If they get a quarterback, it's going to be a veteran. Why would they go out and let's restart that? And well, he's doing really good as a rookie or whatever.
Right.
No, they're going to bring a veteran in to compete to some degree with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Yeah. So
Is this a possible place for Russell Wilson, you think?
he fits, I think, what they want to be and who they are. His
Right.
arm, he's got a better arm than the two quarterbacks there. I'd say he's more mobile than either one of them. I think
He
Kenny
can play in
Pickett's-
that weather, too?
Yeah, I think so. He's played
shown
out in
that.
Seattle all these years in
Yeah.
Denver. It's not like they're the greatest. It's always cold, wind, rain,
Right.
or whatever. And so, yeah, that would be interesting to see. But he would kind of fit what they're looking for.
Right.
At least I think. Or we'll just see. What are they going to do on the offensive side? Are they going to try to keep moving this thing forward? I think they did a pretty good job of that there at the end of the year. And we'll see.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh's got a lot of good stuff there that you got to feel good about. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right, cool. And then the last one real quick, Tampa Bay versus Philadelphia.
Well, go ahead. Just do Philadelphia. We're not going to talk. We'll talk about Tampa Bay later.
Yeah, I mean, with Philly, just I don't know. We were constantly the whole year just putting Band-Aids on it. Like, well, they just keep winning. They
This'll
win
be the
ugly.
week.
They do this. They'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And, it just – I think this team's falling apart, right? And I think it's pretty obvious, too. I think a lot of people are saying it on television, too, that just, the team that we fell in love with a year ago, how much a difference makes for a football team this way, too.
You've said it a couple times today.
What's that?
Important in the NFL?
Coaching.
Uh-huh.
So you lost 2 head coaches, offensive, defensive coordinators. They go on. We've seen what Gannon can do as a D coordinator in Arizona and what he did in 1 year. We see what Shane Steichen could do in Indianapolis as an offensive coordinator and Gardner Minshew as his backup and all that stuff.
Yep.
So to replace those guys, hey, do they have hope that the guys that they got can improve as play callers? Of course, time on task and more experience will help you, but it's a tall task right now. I think the roster, too, is not as good as we were giving it credit for, really, as the year went on. Clearly at certain positions, especially in the secondary, right, and even the linebacker position. But you got Kelsey, who now is retired. What happens to Brandon Graham? What happens to Cox? What happens, I guess really just with Jalen Hurts and the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith things that are going on, too, behind the scenes. And their body language on the sideline, to me, was really strange.
Terrible. Strange.
Really
and
strange.
terrible.
I thought, Jalen was, nervously talking, on the sideline at times, trying to, and I just feel like no one was listening or buying into it. So I just feel like there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now with Philadelphia. And there's going to be a lot of things I think that kind of come from this or, where they transition to as a team next year.
Well, I wasted my time, I don't know why, watching Tampa and Philadelphia play week 3 this year.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I said, wow, this is, if you're Philadelphia, I'm thinking they're going to study this tape and they're going to be ready.
Right.
You know, because Tampa is ridiculous blitzing.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous. They blitz, well, only reason.
And that's what you said, too. Like, Wink and the Giants just dominated
Free
Philadelphia,
runners
being
constantly.
aggressive, free runners. Tampa said, this is what we do. We match up great with them. Let's do it again.
They did it again. I'm not going to say they had great success. They lost that game because Philadelphia ran the ball. You know, they had a few big plays, all that stuff. But to have I don't want to say it, but blitz beaters, it's so, I hate, it's easy. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's really complicated. No, it's easy.
Yeah.
Have guys block, have guys in motion, whatever. You know they're going to blitz. And the only teams that blitz more than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year was, how about this? The New York Giants, what a shock.
Right.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Right. Flores up there. You know, when in doubt, send them all.
Right.
And let's get off the field or get a turnover and let our offense on the field. But, that was the most shocking thing of all, that they had no answers for the blitz.
For sure.
That would have been my first, second, third, and fourth thing that we would have worked on all week.
No doubt.
I hate to go back and talk, but with Bill Parcells and Ron Earhart, man, if a team was blitzing us, hell, that's all we did was work on it.
Yeah.
Hell, we know how to run this play. We've run it 7,000 times, and because there's nothing worse. And my last thing would be this. It really speaks to the coach that you didn't have answers for it.
For sure.
Okay? Not the players, the coach.
Right.
And did you see one play where you went, oh, man, they almost caught Tampa this time?
Yeah, not many. No, not many.
I didn't see any.
No, I still think Jalen Hurts has to throw the football better, though. I really do.
Yeah, I'm not
I
going
mean,
to.
you know, I still think there was opportunities where it's one-on-one, it's pressure. He has, like, the boundary throw there where it's like the stop route or whatever. And just, he's throwing it high. He's not throwing the football effectively well, too. You know, even the one that was tipped away in the red zone on the fourth down, too. You know, Dallas Goedert's open underneath. You know, he's got a matchup. If he catches it, he's going to run for 10. You know, so, like, I feel like, no doubt, there wasn't a ton of opportunities where you say they could have had him here, but I still think that he has to improve as a thrower, right, and as a quarterback in that regard, right, to literally put his team on his shoulders at times. And then also the scheme on top of it is not helping anybody that's involved in that game.
Well, they had some just one-on-ones. They threw it deep, and even those, a couple of those,
they were
out of bounds.
That's literally their get out of jail free card. I feel like the past 2 years, they're like, all right, pressure, let's just throw it deep to A.J. Brown.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
and
that's not really a bad decision.
It's not a bad decision, but when he's not there, it's a bad decision. You know.
No, I'm just saying. You know, listen. The league is not that complicated, where you can't draw up plays. You see the blitz is coming. Hell, if I can see it on TV every play, surely they do. And we go into checking off to something, and again, it's deception.
You're right.
You know, let's put the receiver in motion to block the one guy we can't block, because we don't need much time.
Yeah.
Catch it, look, throw.
Right.
You know,
but there's Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. You know, first playoff start ever. Recognize defense, change the play, execute it. Never see any of that from Philadelphia, ever on offense. Never see any sort of adjustment or check or some sort of creativity that way too.
Well, we didn't talk about Tampa Bay, but we'll get them going forward here, because it was a really good effort by them.
And I was Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker. Yep. We'll get into him as we talk about the game. So, who's the first playoff game up?
So the first one is the Texans versus the Ravens.
Texans and Ravens. Who do you like in this? Let's do the point spread.
You want to do look at it. Hey, just pick the damn game, all right? And then we'll talk about what you like.
Well, you're going to pick Baltimore.
Am I?
Of course you are.
I don't know. I got a 6-game lead. I can have fun.
Yeah, I know. That's why you'll chalk it. Okay, who you taking? You say first.
I'll take Baltimore.
Okay. I'm going to take Houston.
All right. Oh,
I mean, it's a big upset, but, you know, upsets happen, and I'm trying to catch you. But I can make a case for Houston.
All right, so go ahead. What's the case for Houston?
Well, have you seen their offense? Have you seen that? How's that look?
So the only offense that has really done, I feel like, a tremendous amount of damage against the Baltimore Ravens all year, the Rams, the Browns, both of them, though, like, really early, or at least the Rams was more recently. The Browns was very early in the season. Right. Can Houston do that type of damage against this defense?
Yes, I think they can. I've given up. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, this is the first year for the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah.
No, we're way past that.
Right.
Yeah, they're very clever. They got talent. Man, I wish their receiving core, look, everybody's dealing with injuries, was 100%.
Right.
Man, Tank Dell would be in there. Woo. And you'd have a lot to do. But I think they're going to devise a scheme that, again, does what? What did I say? They're going to protect the quarterback at all costs. And they're going to find ways and get those one-on-ones. It's going to be interesting. So I feel confident about their offense. And on the defense, I'll just say this. Will Anderson is getting better every single week. Even this past week, I saw him. I went, oh, my God, he's starting to he's trimmed up.
He's figuring it out.
But do you notice he's trimmer than he was? Because that's who he is.
Right.
He played nose tackle some for Alabama.
Right.
Nose tackle. I saw him in there against Texas, right on the center. I'm like, how can you be that middle linebacker, an edge rusher, defensive end? I mean, they put his ass everywhere. But and then you and I think we're talking about this early in the year.
Yeah.
I'm watching them play a game, and I'm trying to study Houston. I don't know why. There was something coming up. And I go, oh, they got Will Anderson inside. And I said, who's this Jonathan Grenard?
Right.
Because I don't follow Houston a lot because they haven't been any good.
Of course.
You do. But then we watched and I said, oh, this Grenard's really good.
Yeah.
And that's why Will Anderson's inside. But not anymore. Now they're both getting in positions to where they can show their talent.
Yeah, so that's it. And I think, too, just Devin Singletary being a huge part of Texans staying on schedule. It's not like he had tremendous yards against Cleveland. Cleveland's a very good run defense, but just like gotta get some tough yards and just kind of run its sake in the playoff and not be super pass heavy. I think the first time that they played, CJ Stroud had 44 attempts. So it's like, I would rather that be closer to 30.
What did I say about that first game?
And be high percentage. Well, you were just so impressed with CJ's ability to throw the football down the field in that one.
Yeah,
he was getting killed. He was getting killed, but he was also just making some big time throws.
Damn. I mean, I liked him coming out of college, but I didn't see this.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah.
And the other thing, you and I were talking before we came on, Baltimore. So the defense has, had an outstanding year and everything, but it really came from guys that we didn't expect would be getting to the quarterback.
Right.
So you get three guys, and BK is one.
13, he's awesome.
13 sacks
for a D tackle.
Man, it's like
that is
somebody
crazy.
gave him a. I don't want to be too smart here. He's so quick for a big guy. That's what got me.
His quick twitch is ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah.
And Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney.
Awesome.
He's big. Yeah. And then,
Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, Kyle Van Noy. I mean, I laugh. I literally saw him on TV on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe I missed it. I said, what did they say? Who got the sack?
And I love, too, before the show, you're like, he was on the Matt McAfee show.
Did I say that really? Okay.
But still, you're right, though. Just McDonald and his ability to make it work with all these different pieces, right? These guys that have been battle-tested, too. It's really impressive. And the one thing, too, that obviously just the linebackers, of course.
Well, yeah,
Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, that's phenomenal.
Modern-day linebackers.
Who has more pressure, though? The Baltimore defense going against the Houston Texans offense, or Baltimore's offense being off now going against D'Amico Ryans and that defense?
That's interesting. No matter how we look upon it, I'm always going to say Baltimore's offense.
Yeah.
You got a good offensive line. You got a really good tight end now, and or a couple.
Right.
Isaiah Likely, though, is the real deal. The receivers, the scheme, and I think my first thought about this is everybody's afraid of Lamar running.
Right.
Don't be careful, look around. And then, and he's back there and he dances and he doesn't want these steps up. Everybody, and then he backs up and he's got all day to throw.
Yeah.
Pressuring.
I would go.
Go.
Yep, go.
Don't
catch,
wait.
Just
read and
run
throw.
And go. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Just
of course
get
you mix
hits
it
and
up.
collapse. No, you're right.
But when you play that type, it's just too easy.
Yeah.
The receivers are too good. Somebody's going to get open in that time.
For sure.
So, I don't think being off that week, you get enough practice where you can,
yeah,
stay
that
sharp.
doesn't concern you
but
at all.
That's my big thought, or I'd say to the game. Go after Lamar. If you at least send 5.
Right.
And just crush it there where he doesn't have time to move around.
Yeah.
And he has to get rid of the football on time.
Interesting.
I think that gives you a better chance.
All right, cool. And you're going to still stick with your Texans pick?
Yeah.
Okay. If C.J. Stroud wins this football game, is he the MVP of the NFL?
I don't. Is it? Have they turned that vote in already?
I have no idea, but I'm just, I'm going off of like just fandom right now.
Well, no. Let's let him win. Let me think about it.
All right. But I'm just saying, like, these are two guys that have been in consideration
Well,
for the MVP.
we could say whoever wins this game is the MVP.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking you.
Man, if he just rips it up, and we look at it like he's had so many games.
If he does what he did against the Cleveland Browns to the Baltimore Ravens,
the Ravens are not going to be that aggressive.
and
They're not going to
okay.
be tricked by every little.
No doubt.
But I think you bring up a great point.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it's
possible. All right, so
What do you got?
Packers, 49ers.
Okay.
Oh, 54 minutes, Phil. We're having a good time today.
Who do you like?
It's glad that you're back.
I was wondering. I felt like we went too long. That's why. But who do you like in the game?
I'm going to keep riding the Green Bay train on this one.
Oh, good. I'll
yeah.
take San Francisco.
I'll give you. I know. You know what?
Damn.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, you know how I feel privately. I love Matt LaFleur, quarterback coach in Atlanta. Big fan of him, all that stuff.
Right.
And, I just like it. I really did. I know I said I was rooting for the Cowboys and all that, but as the game went on, I was like, how can you not like this Green Bay team, man?
Yeah,
I mean, they are awesome. Now, the biggest thing I think for them is, can they stop the run consistently? Can they stop the Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel gadget runs where it's outside zone here, no, it's fake outside zone, reverse, all those things? Can you limit those early in the football game? Because I feel like if they can make it somewhat close early,
Yeah.
the game slows down naturally for both teams in the third and the fourth quarter, right? So I just feel like, can you limit explosive plays in the run game early on? Now, to kind of counter that, I'm kind of curious if Kyle Shanahan comes out and says, we're just going to go empty and we're just going to nickel and dime them with some of our spread formations and get Christian against some of their backers in space. So like kind of his strategy that was against Philadelphia a year ago in the NFC Championship game was going to be that. So really curious to see kind of how that chess game is and how San Francisco also bottles up what I think is maybe one of the fastest receiving cores in the NFL.
That's interesting.
And also feeling super confident right now who they are.
San Francisco does play what I call safe defense.
They do.
Okay,
Keep everything in front.
Keep it in front.
Yeah.
So if you do that, listen, boy, I've done these eye visions on CBS, and a couple of them, it seems like have been Jordan Love, how he will definitely take the sideline throws.
Right.
So that would be interesting, to see how that works out. And, you can't get caught up with where's everybody at with the San Francisco offense.
No doubt.
Corners, stay outside. Oh, it's a running back outside? Stay on the running back.
That's right.
We're going to play zone anyway.
Yeah.
So why do we want to switch everybody around? Then have everybody else where they should be. That way you eliminate all this stuff, and you're going to make mistakes when you try to match up.
For sure.
My God, they run out of the huddle, they line up, you go, you don't know who in the hell's who.
Yeah.
And so I, of course, learned that from a defensive coach in the NFL this year.
That's right.
He goes, you can't be chasing these guys everywhere. Just line up. Corners stay outside. Running back, it doesn't matter.
This coach is from the South, I guess.
No, it wasn't.
Or is that just your coach voice?
That was, I guess that's my coach. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But and as soon as he said it, I went, man, that makes sense. You eliminate so many problems.
Yeah, well, I think there was a time in the coaching world, too, specifically, where it was kind of like, like types, receiver, we got to need a corner, we need this. But when you're playing really good zone defense, it's kind of just like, hey, know your role and responsibility and know that when this person goes out in motion over here, these are the type of plays that they run typically, right? That's another aspect, too. Green Bay, the screen game.
Yes.
Can you pursue and stop in the screen game and those high percentage throws that Brock Purdy kind of gets his momentum built.
Green
off
Bay
of.
does have speed on defense. Show me a slow defense, and I'll show you somebody had a bad record. But they do have it.
Yeah.
Hell, I forgot what else I was going to say when you were talking about that. But yeah, they got the speed on defense to stop the screen game and to have success there. So we'll see how that goes. But I think the other thing is you said it right too. For Green Bay, just don't give up those. If you don't give up those big plays, which is easy to say, hard to accomplish against a talent like San Francisco.
For sure.
I think my point I kind of forgot. I didn't think San Francisco's offense just was two things. How did Baltimore play San Francisco? I think is interesting.
Can Green Bay match that type of
No,
style?
but you're going to learn a lot there.
Okay.
What they did.
Right.
They were on top of some of their key plays.
Might not have the Johnnies and Joes, but they had the X's and O's down.
Yeah,
Okay.
So that'll really be interesting.
Okay.
So
I like that.
And protecting Jordan Love, that's the other one. With all this rest, I haven't looked to see is Armstead going to be playing this week?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure if he is actually ready to play.
So that's a big miss.
That is a big one.
I think it's changed their team a little as I watch them.
If he doesn't play, huge advantage for Green Bay.
Yeah.
I'll say that because
Yeah.
I feel like Green Bay, man, they did a really good job of being balanced offensively too. I didn't notice Micah Parsons. I didn't notice, their great pass rush, and even when they did have free runners, Jordan Love did a great job of navigating through it and creating space for himself to throw.
That's good. That's good. You're so right.
So that's curious. Like, I don't know if San Francisco is that much more talented on the defensive front than Dallas right now.
No, probably not.
They're
Probably
about
not.
the same, I would say.
Yeah. Dallas is really good up front, but man, Green Bay had all the answers.
They
we talked
did.
about that game. So this is going to be a fun game to watch, and it's one of those. I don't want to boil it down to this, but I think that first quarter is huge.
Yeah.
Can you not have something blow up on you for just a quarter?
I agree.
Then let's play.
Can you hold San Francisco to a field goal on their opening drive? Because I know one thing, Kyle.
For 2
if
weeks.
you let him score on the opening drive,
Yeah.
he's gonna be like, he's gonna go back into that lab, and he's gonna be like, all right, let's just crush them right here. There's nobody that plays better with a lead than Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So that's where it's just like hold them to a field goal, and you never know what happens. But you're right, I do like that thought about Baltimore. So you got the 49ers, I got the Green Bay Packers, and I like how I feel about this matchup. All right, now we're going to the Bucs and the Lions. Do the Bucs have any chance at beating the Lions?
Sure they do.
Ford Field. They do?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's here it is. It's Wednesday. I want to watch that game when they played this year.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember it that well. So hopefully, maybe today I will. But I want to see it just to see the matchups and everything.
Right.
But the blitzing by Tampa Bay, the feeling they got,
The feeling?
the feel,
The feeling?
feeling. How you say it? Feeling.
The feeling?
Feeling.
Yeah.
Whatever. Don't make fun of the way I talk. But too. Baker Mayfield. I'll just start with their offense real quick. They didn't get a chance to really throw the ball to their wide receivers as much as they'd like to. They'll get that chance against Detroit.
Right.
And Baker Mayfield, you and I were in our kitchen this morning, and I said, man, Baker is throwing the ball so well. And what I like, and I said, a couple times when I watched him play Philadelphia, he just threw the ball too hard.
They were so damn hard.
Damn, who's going to – it's getting on the receivers so quick. No wonder they dropped a few passes.
For sure.
I think Troy might even said something, a little hint like, yeah, he's throwing a few of these a little too hard for him. But that tells you he's feeling good. He was in great rhythm. His whole body, his arm, confident. He threw the ball with such confidence. And
couldn't tell that he was playing through injury, with the ribs and the ankle and all that kind of stuff.
moved around great.
Moved around great.
He's not
played
afraid
tough.
to keep moving and take a sack, which
Dude
he does.
is fearless, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing that I think is a positive, too, is that Tampa Bay did what they did offensively. And I just wanted to double-check again. Mike Evans had 3 catches for 48.
Yeah, no.
So it was the worst. It was the worst possible game that Mike Evans could have in a playoff game, and yet they still put up 32.
Yeah.
So I have to think that it's very hard for that. I feel like to repeat itself too. He had one just overthrown down the left sideline that was just out of reach, but then there was another one that Baker threw an absolute dime to him, and Mike dropped it.
Yeah.
And he was pissed at himself after it. But just I find it hard to believe that they'll be able to bottle up Mike Evans, the same way, or for him to come up short. I think it's actually an advantage that Tampa Bay is playing in the dome that way as a throwing football team that way. If they can manage the crowd noise and not have the self-inflicted, offside, false starts and all that kind of stuff, I think this offense can really put up a lot of stats and yards.
Well, we talked about Aaron Glenn, the defense, and
Yeah.
what he's done and why they do certain things.
Right.
And, now they can play man-to-man. Why is that? They don't. More than they usually do. Because they don't have to worry about Tampa Bay's explosive run game.
No.
Which it's not.
And you're right. I was going to say that, though, too. Run the ball with Rashid Rice a little bit more.
Rashid White.
Excuse me. Did I say Rice? Excuse me.
Rashad White.
Yeah, Rashad White.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's
I
all right.
apologize.
There's a lot of names out there.
Run the football more, though, with him.
Just to keep them honest.
For sure.
Yeah. That'll really be a big key. And if they can play more man-to-man, that would be interesting to see, too. just because the wide receivers for Tampa, some of their scheme, that'll be important. Then let's go to the other side, and just watching the game on TV when they were playing the Rams. Aiden Hutchinson is,
He's a dog.
Anytime you talk about these pass rushers coming to the league, okay, well, they make the adjustment, and
he's like William Wallace out there with his face paint. He's just out there. He's like, McCormick! He's just going nuts. So, I mean, he's awesome. He is awesome.
Excuse me.
He's a game wrecker for sure.
He looks faster than he did earlier in the year. He looks faster than he was last year. Boy, excuse me. Getting choked up talking about him, man. He's really playing well.
He's playing great.
Yeah. No, but and his moves, he's got counter moves. Really, it makes me think differently about when you talk about rushers coming into the draft.
Yeah.
Because we look at Will Anderson, Aiden Hutchinson, his second year, how good that's gotten. Karlaftis, how he's changed in his second year. They just keep learning their craft, and they keep getting better.
Yeah.
And, they got premier pass rushers now.
Yeah, they do. They do. The other one that, even Jack Campbell, too, the rookie out of Iowa, he's starting to kind of figure it out, too.
Yeah, Iowa really just doesn't turn out enough players.
It's unbelievable. I mean, holy crap. They got a national championship football team out there in the NFL. They can only score 10 points on offense, but it's ridiculous.
Just something for Iowa. Why don't you just give it up? Let's do this. And just start running the wishbone.
I agree.
No, I'm serious.
You're right. Just run the.
We're not going to throw the ball, but maybe
just be Army and Navy on steroids.
That's it.
That's really what it is. You're right. They'd probably win a lot more games that way.
Well, I mean, the defensive players in the NFL, the old linemen. The league is loaded with Iowa tight ends.
Yeah, just put the tight ends at quarterback in that offense. All right, Bucks Lions. Who you got, player? Damn.
I know. I'm trying.
Let's go.
I gotta pick winners here because you're ahead of me. I'm going for the upset. I'm taking Tampa Bay.
Wow. Phil Simms.
You were going to take Detroit. That's why.
I was actually thinking about the upset, too, for a second. I really was.
Well, do what you got to do, son.
Yeah. No, I'll go with the Lions because I picked against them last week, and I'm a little disappointed that I did, too, because I didn't take into the emotion of, how much that game meant, too.
Yeah.
I kind of went with the old SOL, as they would say. Same old Lions,
everybody took – it seemed like everybody picking, well, I like the Rams.
Yeah, I know. But you can see why, though, too.
Yeah.
All right, Chiefs-Bills. Yeah, I know.
Wow. Well, what we wrote down, I guess because everybody has injuries, but not like the defense of the Buffalo Bills.
It's ridiculous that they have survived and been as good as they have been on the defensive side of the football for more than half of the year, because I thought when Matt Milano went down earlier, I was like, oh, well, here's the beginning of the end for them.
Yeah.
And they just keep – I don't know how many times I've doubted the Bills this entire year.
Poyer and Hyde were beat up.
Oh, I know.
They lost their corner, Tre'Davious White. I mean, that's so long ago. Was that last year or this year? I don't even remember. But
You're
here
right.
we go. They got one player on offense, Gabe Davis, that I don't know. It's Wednesday, so I'll start looking at the injury report Friday morning.
Right.
But so that's one. Benford, okay, he's out. Or hurt, a corner.
Yep.
Terrell Bernard, the middle linebacker.
Who's played very well.
Very well.
Very well.
Smart, active, runs.
Yep. Strong, yep.
Terrell Dotson, don't know about him. Rasul Douglas.
Huge.
I mean, huge. I don't know his status, if he's out for the year or whatever.
Yeah.
Taylor Rep, oh, my God.
He's been battling injury the past 3 weeks, I feel like.
Taron Johnson, the nickelback, one of the, I would say, top 5 nickelbacks in the NFL. He's iffy. I don't know, an inspector, the linebacker. So is that enough?
That's a lot of people.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. How many was that, 8?
Well, let's see.
7 or 8?
3, 5, 8, 7 on defense. We're watching the game, and I see A.J. Klein making a tackle, and I go,
oh, I know. And
I turned to Bill Cowher, he linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah. He's only retired 3 different times.
I said, A.J. Klein, he goes, yeah, they brought him off the practice squad.
I know.
He's a 14-year vet.
Yeah.
I think I'm just
yeah.
But yeah, there he is, and I got to tell you,
you look good.
I watched the game. He did well.
You look good. You look real good.
It's like anything. He of course can't run like he probably used to, but his knowledge is great
for sure.
And so that really does.
Shit, we got to roll you out there for the Giants next year.
I tell you what, I could hand it off as well as anybody.
We'll put you on that Iowa offense.
You've seen me in summer working out with all these guys.
Yeah, you're the best underhand thrower I've ever
Well,
seen.
no, but
Philly.
I mean, you see me? I can't throw overhand anymore. It hurts.
Yeah,
hurts.
when you do though, it's damn good.
Yeah.
So can the Kansas City Chiefs though? I mean, can the Buffalo Bills overcome the injuries? You think, even
think it's a
being
lot.
at home?
Yes, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It really is. I think that when I look at this game, regardless of who plays for the Bills defense, they're really deep on the defensive line, and Ed Oliver's playing great. You got Russo. We got Daquan Jones, another guy inside who's just kicking. They're about 7-8 deep for real.
Yeah, right.
And they rotate, keep them fresh, and they better be fresh.
What would your strategy be if you were McDermott? Like, would you be more aggressive and get after Patrick Mahomes, or would you try to kind of stay back and just let the front do what they do and really just focus on stopping the run game?
Run.
Stop
the
the
run.
run. Yeah.
And know sooner or later, no matter how good they run the ball, what they do, it's third down. Then you try to take advantage of their tackles.
Right.
And, can you do that? I actually saw Von Miller, I think, in the game for one or two plays, and I watched, and I think he was in for like 2, and they took him out again. But it's a shame he wasn't a big part of this rushing the passer. Leonard Floyd, another guy that's really stepped up and had a good year for him, a good edge rusher.
Yep.
And all that. But, yeah, play it safe, wait for third down, try not to give up the big plays. But I think that the way Mahomes and Josh Allen, I'll just say this about Kansas City's offense. I think they have a chance to have a really good day.
Right.
So I'm not going to pick the game yet. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. No, I mean, this one I'm very conflicted because this is where I'm going to just go to my fandom. I'm not going to go to ex-football player and all that stuff. I just like the Bills.
Yeah.
I really do. And I also just want Josh Allen to kind of get over that narrative, too, of, it's all on him. Because it kind of goes back to the Stafford golf thing, too, where it's like, who's going to win that matchup? Josh Allen's played great the last 3 times that they played the Chiefs, and yet, 2 of them he came up short because the defense and special teams were just, stupid.
Yeah.
So, in this one, I'm just kind of rooting for the Bills. I really am, as the underdog, even though they're home.
Yeah, I think they're a small favorite.
They're a small favorite, but I just kind of like the Bills story.
Right.
I love the fact that I've been down in them all year, and they keep overcoming it. I hope Stephon Diggs has a big day. It's going to be very difficult against the secondary with Kansas City. So
Not
it's
a great matchup.
For me, I'm picking the Chiefs if I was to pick. The Chiefs are the better football team to me, and they're the safer bet. I'm going to go with the Bills, though, just because I'm a fan, and I just want them to kind of have this success, even though I really don't think that they're a Super Bowl caliber football team. Neither do I think the Chiefs are either, though. I really don't, in the big picture. I know their defense is.
I think the Chiefs bottomed out, fixed it.
Right.
And I think they're a huge threat to go to the Super Bowl.
You do.
I do.
Right.
I mean.
And it's because of their defense.
That's the starting point.
It is.
So let's just say they match up against Houston, or if they win, let's say they match up against Baltimore or Houston. They can match up.
They match up great.
They're one of the few teams
that can play versus
that
everybody.
can do either one of those teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they got they just got a lot of guys up front.
Definitely match up well against the Packers.
Absolutely.
Can they match up with the San Francisco 49ers really well?
Yes.
Really well.
I think the Chiefs can match up against anybody. One, the defense has been consistent, and it's creative, and they got shutdown corners, and that becomes, as we go along in the playoffs, corners can do what? They can be more aggressive.
Right.
Because the flags don't come out as fast.
Yeah, which I love about playoff football.
Yeah, so I think that's a big deal to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs can, they can play man-to-man, and they can blitz, so they just put pressure on you all the time.
Yeah.
And even if you block them, can we beat their guys one-on-one? I think that's a really big question.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The other thing is, too, though, pretty impressed with Buffalo that they've incorporated more people into their offense.
Man, right?
Yeah, so that's been really good. Speed. Yes. All that might work for them against this aggressive Kansas City defense. And, of course, James Cook, good game against Pittsburgh. Watching him missed a few runs where if he makes the cut the right way, reading the blocks,
it's explosive play.
He's going to have it. So there's a lot there.
But yeah, Shakir and Hardy are the two that you're mentioning, too, that have been integrated into this, this roster that make a huge impact.
And do you think Dalton Kincaid, is that worked out?
He's legit.
Gosh, I remember watching him.
Again, there's so many good damn tight ends in the NFL right now. It's just awesome.
It's the biggest
upgrade position.
of anything.
Yeah, in the past 5 years, that position has just blown up.
In college football, every time I turn the TV on Saturdays, I'm watching
College football doesn't even take advantage of good tight ends. That's
I know,
what's crazy.
but there's a lot of good ones.
You're right. We only learn about them when they get to the NFL
Yeah.
because colleges can't doctor it up enough for them. But you make such great points. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, wait, you just said you wanted Buffalo. That's why I took Kansas City.
Oh, well, I just switched my mind. Can I do that? I'm not allowed to do that?
I just think it's a little suspect.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
little-
you're suspect.
You got a
All
little
right?
nervous as
No, you make great points.
I make good points. Oh,
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
Good.
You won the debate.
I won. Yeah. No, that's going to be. We have the game CBS. It's I'm not even sure. I can't remember all these times. I think we had a 6:30 game on
Right.
Sunday.
Right.
So it's going to be dark up there. The crowd's going to be crazy.
Like they always are.
No, it'll really be crazy. Night
Yeah.
game. Oh, we got lots of time.
Lots of time to
Yeah,
get liquored up.
No, I can say, look, I can get oiled up, get ready for the weather. And I hope the weather's not like crazy.
Yeah.
I want to see them play.
Oh,
I
you
don't
do?
want to
Okay.
see them fight the elements the whole
Well,
damn
I will
game.
say this: both teams show that doesn't really matter.
No.
They perform extremely well.
Two quarterbacks that are weatherproof.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
They can run, both of them, and they both. I'll never forget the game. Remember when New England played up there? Mac Jones threw 3 passes in the game. It was a Monday night. There was like 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen was going into the wind.
Yeah.
And he's throwing like 30-yard lasers.
He threw a missile like 6 feet off the ground for a 40-yard touchdown in that game.
It was hilarious.
I think New England won that game though because they
They
rushed
did.
for like 250 yards or
Yeah, they
something
did.
crazy like that. But,
They did. So-
so exciting weekend for the
Yep.
divisional round. Me and Big Phil, we basically picked opposite except for the Chiefs Bills. So should be a good one. We'll see what happens with that. Big Phil,
What?
glad you're back, man.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
It's good to see you, man. Hair
Yeah.
looks good. Shirt looks good.
Yeah.
Glad you wore pants. Appreciate it, brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all for us at Sims Complete. We appreciate it. Thank you to IMP Studios. Thank you for our family over there at Believe. Sims Complete.
You didn't do any Lady Diana's today. You didn't do anything. I know
What do you mean, Lady Diana?
we're in the kitchen at my house before we sign off.
Right.
And my wife will say something, and Matt will start laughing. He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna write that down."
Well, I did say that, you were sick and that, well, it didn't affect his appetite. He's still hungry. So I told that story.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot that one.
I
Okay.
can't always just,
No, she did something else. I was like,
I'm
damn,
beating you in picks. I can't, beat your ass too much.
Oh, hell, I
so
don't care. I'm past that. I've taken so many beatings in my life. I feel better when I get beat. Does that make sense?
No, it does not. All right, you're a strange cat. That's a
Yeah.
Fight Club type of sound off right there. We appreciate everybody again for tuning in. Sims Complete, IMP Studio, Believe Network, thank you so much. And as we always sign out the show, Big Phil, what do we say?
Yeah.
What
Good
do-
luck.
No.
Oh,
no.
toodles.
Hey, as Coach would say, hey, Mickey the Boob, okay? Hey,
Yeah.
toodles.
Never fight anybody that likes just the action.